You don't want to miss our next speaker, and that is Ben Cannon. Now, we've already introduced Ben. Ben is the Executive Director of the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, and Ben is going to talk to us about the implementation of Future Ready Oregon. So I'd love everybody to bring their attention back up here, and I'd love to introduce again Ben Cannon.
All right, so I did make the quick walk. I got my steps in, down and back, slightly out of breath. Welcome back from break. So one of the great things about working at the HECC, I work for a board, the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, with significant responsibilities for coordinating post-secondary education and training in Oregon. And our staff also supports this amazing workforce talent and development board that is setting strategy and policy leadership for workforce development in Oregon. And we're doing so within the same organization, within the same state agency. And I hope it's an opportunity to break down some of those artificial divides that have separated out our quote unquote workforce system from our colleges and universities, which of course are a critical component to training and educating Oregonians for work. And I want to, before getting to the meat of my presentation, acknowledge the governor-appointed, Senate-confirmed Workforce Talent and Development Board and HECC commissioners, so the Workforce Board members and HECC commissioners who are in the room. You met Ann Mercereau, the the chair of the Workforce Talent and Development Board earlier. There are other WTDB members here. Could we please acknowledge them with a round of applause for their service to Oregon. And HECC commissioners, our chair, Terry Cross, Frank Goulard is here, Greg Heyman, I believe Aislinn Matias, Ricardo Lujan Valerio, and Richard Devlin also appreciate their service and commitment to this work. Let's also give them a round of applause. All right, in just a few minutes, and perhaps to catch us a little bit up on schedule, I want to give you a little more detail about the Future Ready Oregon package. You've been hearing a lot about Future Ready Oregon. For some of you, if you didn't follow the legislative session really closely, you may still be wondering, well, what exactly is this? $200 million, workforce development, equity, education, how is this all broken down? We at the Higher Education Coordinating Commission are responsible for overseeing the implementation and the funding for a big chunk, but not the entirety of this package. I'm going to focus on the portions that the HECC is responsible for implementing and give you a sense of our timelines and strategies. Also want to acknowledge that there are portions of this package that our partners at the Bureau of Labor and Industries and the Youth Development Division will also be implementing, and I believe there are representatives of those agencies here today, and they'll be part of the discussion throughout the day. So with that, we should have couple of slides here. And I'm going to jump in. You heard some reference to this in the last panel discussion, the $35 million that have been assigned for Prosperity 10,000 grants. These grants will go to local workforce development boards. So we know who the recipients of these grants will be. They will fund career coaching, occupational training, job placement services, wraparound supports, paid work experiences, and targeted recruitment and engagement efforts. That funding starts to be released next month. These plans will be developed regionally by the local boards to support regional economic and workforce needs. The next and the largest component of this $200 million package, and the least clearly defined today, is the Workforce Ready grants at $95 million. These grants, which we will start to release an initial package of or funding stream in the coming months, and then the vast majority over the next year to year and a half, these grants will fund paid work experiences, workforce program tuition and fee assistance, wraparound services, the development of culturally and linguistically specific career pathways, and organizational development. So the first tranche of this funding will support organizational development and capacity building, because the recipients for these grants may include Organizations that are relatively new or inexperienced in the workforce development space. We envision partnerships, potentially between community-based organizations, between training providers, potentially colleges and universities, potentially local workforce boards, and others who are developing plans, and in the first case, potentially organizational capacity to do the workforce development that's envisioned by this package. This focus on partnership, on some organizations that may be new to the workforce space, culturally specific organizations, community-based organizations, will allow organizations to serve priority populations that haven't historically been well integrated into our workforce system. We know that to create a workforce system that is more equitable and more just will require reimagining and transforming our work. And so in the development of the bulk of these fundings and our RFAs and for the bulk of our funding, we need to engage community very deeply in envisioning what these strategies, programs could look like. So a lot to come on this, a lot of need for your help, community engagement, and support in thinking through this. It's going to take some time. You've also heard reference to career pathway training, and there's almost $15 million in the bill for these programs that will benefit community, will go to community colleges to support students in obtaining necessary skills for obtaining a job or advancing their career in high-wage, high-demand industry and occupations. And career pathways are typically short-term training programs, again, community college-based. We'll award these to Oregon 17 community colleges under a formula that we will establish, and those will help ramp up opportunity for students in those short-term career training programs. The bill includes $10 million to support credit for prior learning. The beneficiaries of these grants, or the recipients of these grants, will be Oregon community colleges and universities to help implement a statewide approach to acknowledging, recognizing, and providing credit to students, academic credit to students for learning that they have gained through skills they've gained through prior experience outside of traditional post-secondary educational spaces. So it could be in the military, it could be in work, it could be in other settings. There is, go the wrong way here, $10 million in the bill for workforce benefits navigators grants. These grants will fund workforce benefits navigators. These are individuals, navigators, helping job seekers at WorkSource Oregon centers and community-based organizations. So individuals employed at those places where job seekers may find them to help them navigate the various benefits that are available to them. And we've been doing this in partnership with community colleges and universities over the last year as a result of prior legislation, creating these folks, individuals on campuses that can support the client, the customer, the student in accessing the benefits that may be available to them. A couple other pieces of this. This is the last I'll spend any time on. These are the industry consortia, which you've also heard recognized, funded at $1 million. This is not a big grant funding opportunity to support workforce development directly. This is about bringing industry consortia together at a state level in the healthcare, manufacturing, and technology sectors to identify the education and training needs that their employers have in the years and decades to come. They'll build strategic partnerships, address mutual industry goals, identify industry-specific workforce needs, and promote workforce development programs and activities. So more to come, and more consideration and thought that needs to go into this in partnership with our employers in these sectors. We recognize at the HECC, this is a tall order. We've been given a remarkable opportunity, have a lot of responsibility. We can't and will not do it alone. I mentioned the involvement of the Bureau of Labor and Industries, the $20 million in the package that will support apprenticeship expansion that agency, state agency, will lead, as well as the over $10 million that the Youth Development Division, another Oregon State agency will be administering in order to connect youth with training, education, and skills. In addition to those partnerships, the community partnership piece, again, of this I will stress, the employer partnership. We are the beneficiaries from a state kind of appropriation, state budgeting, and we are the administrators of a big chunk of this package, we at the HECC. But the ideas, the innovation, the delivery will occur in partnership with many of the folks who are in this room, with community-based organizations, employers, other agencies, local government, local workforce boards. And so events like today, connections that we make today, information that we take from you today, and your engagement in this in the months and years to come is going to be critical for reaching our goals, keeping it going, and impacting Oregonian. We've developed a Future Ready Oregon webpage. Hopefully, yep, I think it's here. That looks like a lot to write down, but I suspect that this link is available through conference materials, as well as it indicates, the homepage for the HECC, which of course you can Google. It's oregon.gov/higher-ed. At that site, you will find implementation updates, engagement and funding opportunities, and the latest Future Ready Oregon news. We've also developed an email account for all things Future Ready Oregon. It's noted here as well as on our website. If you have questions about our implementation efforts, would like to share feedback, ideas, or interest outside of today, potentially be part of some of the committees or advisory groups that we'll be putting together to support us in the grant making and other implementation efforts, please contact us via that email. Again, we are grateful for the opportunity. We're daunted and humbled by the responsibility that we have to implement this package along with BOLI and YDD, and appreciate your engagement in that.